12, you definitely just caught me off guard there. The intro started in 2023. Well, what a way to start 2024, ladies and gentlemen. It's our first stream of 2024, and I'm proud to be your host for today's episode of The Scoop. Yes, again, this is on Ice Cream Uploads, twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, I may add. And we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish. Starters mean to go on, I suppose. It's 2:45 now. I mean, I think we did start at, well, give or take just after past. Not in 2023, as 12 very much just pointed out then, but it's nice to see some familiar faces, or names, shall we say, in the chat. 12. I wish it wasn't here, but here we go. Nicho, Spiffy, and Jay, all in the chat. Very much appreciate you guys. Did I make a funny? Apparently you did. I'll read. To Nicho also in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a hell of a Christmas, or shall we say holiday period, as people say nowadays. No one likes to say Christmas. No idea why, but there we go. The Christmas and New Year festive period. Fantastic. It doesn't feel like it was long enough, and I suppose that's always I need a vacation from the vacation. But yeah, they never feel long enough, but here we go. Tito says, I'm not here. Apparently not, but I wish he was. I wish he was here. But yeah, I don't know how yours guys was. Obviously, I did speak to a number of you guys over Christmas, whether or not in Discord or via text message. So I do hope that you all kept it festive and all had enough food, drink, or whatever else. I put on £8 over Christmas. I made the conscious decision. You guys probably know this already, but I made the conscious decision of not weighing myself or putting anything in my app over the December period. I lost 2.5 stone from July. It was either June or July last 2023 that I thought, you know what, going on a diet, starting football again, I'm doing all that good stuff. I lost 2.5 stone last weigh-in in December, and then I thought, you know what, I got a number of birthdays. I think there's 4 birthdays in December, and that's not including Graham, as well as Christmas dues, the actual Christmas period, New Year's Eve, and all the other good stuff that comes around with it. So I thought, you know what, I'm not going to do it, and I put on nearly £8. So yeah, I am back on it well and truly. I don't know if you guys have got New Year's resolutions. I don't tend to have them because they're never really realistic. You always get I'm going to try and lose weight, I'm going to learn a new language or something like that. I've decided that I'm going to actually try, believe it or not, to learn to play the guitar. I know you guys already think that I know how to play it, and that's wonderful, but genuinely, I've treated myself to some new guitar strings because one of them snapped. As you can see, these ones are all nice and bright. So, I've done a few lessons so far, and hopefully, at some point this year, I'll learn how to play the guitar-ish. Goths and Tories everywhere, says 12. Ugly ass City jersey. I'm not having that. This one's an absolute stone cold classic, I'll have you know. I've got some belters up on the wall as well. I'm sure you guys have probably seen those, but 2 of my favourites are up on the wall. You can't see them from this angle, obviously. You can see my boy, though. I'm getting that changed. I did actually ask my wife to get me a new one for Christmas, and she didn't. I've just realised now that she'd never got me one despite asking me for the picture that I wanted, so yeah, there's that. Get Rocksmith. You know what? I do actually want an electric guitar to be able to play, because I thought this one's only an acoustic. It's not an electric acoustic, so I can't do it with that. But I do want Rocksmith, obviously because I love playing Guitar Hero and stuff, and it's that element of you kind of playing a game. But I'm using Musician at the moment. You can play that. You can use that on your PC as well as your mobile, and it basically comes up like Guitar Hero. Don't know whether or not it's something that I should ever stream, to be perfectly honest. It doesn't use real songs, as far as I'm aware. It just seems like I'm playing covers at the moment. But yeah, I do really want Rocksmith. I wanted it like 5-6 years ago when I actually first started playing guitar. This is my 3rd time trying to learn how to play it, by the way. The other 2 times I've given up after like a month and a half because I just can't get my head around it. But I'm going for the same method that I did when I learned to drive, because I fucking hated learning how to drive when I first attempted. I couldn't get my head around it, and then I went on holiday for 2 weeks to Turkey. I came back and it's like everything clicked, everything just fell into place, and then within 2 months I'd learned how to drive and got my driving license. But yeah, hopefully it'll be like that, and it just clicks this time round. I'm not sure, but I did treat it to some new strings. I did need one anyway because I snapped one, but I think I snapped it because I had the guitar I've had this for like 5 years, but I think I had it for like 3.5, and never changed the strings on it. So they just kind of went dirty, a bit rusty and stuff. So when I went to play it, just went bing, and that's the obvious sound. Oh, and I got some new guitar picks as well. I got like a box of 1,000,000 because I tend to lose them. But yeah, that is my New Year's resolution, shall we say. Continue to try and lose weight. I'm looking to try and lose overall 5 stone collectively. Not now. Just another 2.5 or 2 3/4, shall we say, to make up the difference. By the end of June, I think. That'll be quite nice. Nietzsche says your boy's forehead looks shinier than 12's. I've been in a car with you, not sure how you passed, to be honest. I mean, I was only driving down the wrong side of the street, down a wrong way, so I don't know what your problem is. Jay says they're all ugly. That's not very nice. Ted says better snap to guitar string than snap to banjo string. I do actually have a story about that, but it's not one that I don't think I can repeat on stream. It's nothing to do with me. I was just a part of the conversation. From a very close friend way back when. I have a cracking story, but I'm not going to share that on the airwaves. So that might be one that you get either in like a Discord party at some point, but it's definitely one that I can't tell on stream. 12's calling Nietzsche a shortcut. I mean, what better way to start 2024 and the first episode of The Scoop this year than by 12 calling Nietzsche a cunt. Some things don't change, and I'm quite glad about that. But yes, our first news story this year. I mean, I suppose I should run through what The Scoop is. I mean, you guys should already know this by now. We're well over 700 episodes at this point, with over 200,000 of you guys that have watched this show since its iteration. I think over 5 years now. So that's definitely something that we should at least celebrate at some point. But this is Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. And we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.-ish. Yeah. Definitely not 10 a.m. today. And we're closer to 3 o'clock. But that doesn't mean that the quality is any less. If anything, we've just finished dinner time. We're geared up, do you know what I mean? We've had some egg mayo butties, absolutely banging, by the way. Like, egg mayo is elite when it comes to deli butties. You can rank them however you want, but it's definitely in the top 2. Right? I don't care what your opinion is anyway. But yes, podcast is available right now over on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. We are live over on Twitch. But that doesn't matter if you've missed it, because guess what? This will be available on all platforms on the podcast services. That's right, including Google Play, Amazon Music, Spotify, and iTunes. And absolutely nailed that. So yeah, the podcast will continue on there. So if you've missed it, go ahead and rewatch it back over there. Obviously, it will only be the audio visual. It will only be the audio only. However, on Twitch and YouTube, you obviously get my beautiful face. It is only me today. Usually there is Graham alongside me. He usually drives the conversation, and we give you our thoughts and opinions on top of your thoughts and opinions during the live broadcast, which is always nice when we see some familiar faces in the chat. But if you are new around here, please, please, please don't be a stranger. Get involved with the conversation. I'm fairly certain that you'll think we're all right around here. I mean, there's a few complete dimwits in the chat. You've probably already worked out who they are already, not looking at you, Nietzsche, or 12. Tito, you're all right. Lake, you can get in the bin. But yeah, it's our first stream of 2024. It won't be our last. We'll be live again tonight around about 7:30, 8 o'clock, depending obviously when we can get the boy down and have some scran, me and the wife, before we start her birthday weekend. It is her birthday, her 30th. Oh, sorry. I can't tell you how old she is because she's a lady, and you should never ask a lady what her age is. It's on Sunday, so if you want to save your birthday wishes for then, feel free. She's at Joe91Sammy on Twitter, I think it is. I should really know what my wife's Twitter at is. But yeah, save that for Sunday. We'll be going out on Saturday and Sunday. She doesn't know any of this yet. She is on her way back. Is she in the house yet? Has the ring doorbell gone off? No. She will be coming back at some point. She's on her way back from work. So yeah, I'm trying to get all this out the way now so that she doesn't hear all of this. So yes, we will be live again tonight at 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish, because obviously we are out this weekend on both days. I'm taking her out both days. I've organised quite a lot for her. She doesn't know any of this, so please don't clip any of this up and send it to her. But I've organised quite a bit. That's exactly why I'm not telling you what they are, including some friends that she hasn't seen for a while. So that should be absolutely amazing. Do you have brunch or Brinner? Nietzsche says creep. Lunch ladies. I actually went for my first bottomless brunch in Chester on the 29th of December. And I shit you not, it was one of the best experiences I have ever been on. Very quickly before we get into it, I'll tell you the story. So it was £33 for this bottomless brunch at Slug and Lettuce in Chester. It was only 45 quid to stay in Chester, which I find unbelievable because it is just a gorgeous place. That and York, absolutely amazing. So it was 45 quid to stay in this hotel, Travel Lodge, and then £33 for the bottomless brunch. The bottomless brunch started at 5 p.m. And I don't know if anybody's seen that video that was going around of those three women that get absolutely shit-faced at bottomless brunch. One's falling up a wall, one's falling into a brush, and the other one's just stood there laughing at them both, but she's falling all over it. That was all six of us as we was leaving at 7 o'clock. I will post a picture of the receipt. The ring doorbell's just gone off. I'll post a picture of the receipt that we got into the Discord so you can have a look at it. I swear to God, if it was £33 each, say it was between £10 and £13 for the food, which we had like a chicken burger and chips and stuff like that. Say it was 10 to 13 quid. We definitely drank way more than £20 worth of booze each. I drank a bottle and a half of Prosecco on my own because I was having mimosas. Didn't know that it was Bucks Fizz, by the way. So that changed my life. But I will post a picture of the receipt. You should see how bloody long it is. Unbelievable. Tea is a drink, said Nietzsche. But it's also an eating time? Anyway, that's a brew. I mean, this is a brew with my M. Mickey Mouse. This is a brew. It's nearly stone cold as well. To be honest, lunch, dinner and tea. I mean, you lot can argue all you want in there, but it goes breakfast, dinner, tea. Argue amongst yourselves if that's correct, because I don't care. That's exactly what it is. Anyway, moving on to our first news story of the day. I've delayed this enough. Moving on to our first news story of the day. You may have already seen that if you've seen the advertisement for this episode over on our social media platforms. But it states, over on VGC by our friend over there, Andy Robinson, says, Switch 2 likely to be an iteration rather than a revolution, predicts analyst. So Nintendo's next generation console is expected to launch this year. That's according to Dr. Serkan Toto, CEO of Tokyo-based games industry consultancy Katan Games, who contributed to his forecast for 2024 in the gamesindustry.biz annual analysts predictions feature. Although the company is yet to make a comment publicly, Nintendo's next generation console is widely expected to launch this year after VGC reported that development kits are in the hands of developers and their platform holders prepares its plans. Let me just get rid of Slack and also my emails because it's stressing me out. It's very distracting when I'm trying to read and they're still going off. Can I get rid of them? Do I do it this way? Close. Emails. Close. There we go. Very distracting. Anyway, according to Katan Games Toto, the console could launch at $400, $100 higher than the Switch launched at, and there's a chance that the games could also adopt the $70 pricing of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. And this is a quote, "The time is finally here for Nintendo Switch successor, even though I can say a pro model actually did exist and certain developers were already working with the dev kit," Toto wrote. "I believe that the next hardware will drop in 2024, obviously that's now this year, for $400. There's also a high chance that the game will cost more too." And that equates to about $70. According to the industry consultant, Nintendo's next console will again have portable functionality, and the VGC reported this last year. The next system is likely to be an iteration rather than a revelation. Nintendo might add some bells and whistles to the device, but it will be similar to the current Switch. And because there is Pokemon, and Pokemon is associated with the handheld gaming, there is no way on earth that Nintendo will drop the portability feature for their next big thing. Nintendo President Shigeru Furuwaka? Anyway, terrible names. Big S declined to comment on plans for the company's next console. In November, as it's announced that Switch had cleared 132.46 million lifetime sales, which is absolutely unbelievable. Despite unusually strong performance for a console entering its 7th year on the market, Switch hardware sales are clearly in decline, especially in the major markets outside of Japan. In Nintendo's last fiscal year, Switch sales declined by 22% compared to the previous year as it reaches its current target of 15 million units for this year. That will represent a further decline of 16.5%. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at a console that's been on the market for over 7 years and they're starting to have declining sales. I don't think, personally, that is a major issue. It might be in terms of obviously money coming in if they're making money off of their hardware, which I'm guessing compared to PlayStation and Xbox, that is obviously something that is highly profitable for them. They've got a few SKUs out there. They've obviously got the Nintendo Switch Lite, they've got the Nintendo Switch OLED, and they've got the standard one, including the original one. So technically, there's 4 out in the wild. I don't know whether or not you can actually buy the original one now. I'm fairly certain it got superseded by the newer version, not the OLED, but the one with like improved battery life and things like that. So yeah, in terms of how many SKUs that are out there, and consoles being sold, I thought that this console probably reached its peak maybe 2 years ago in terms of console sales. It feels like it is in everybody's hand. It is pretty much everybody's second console until things like the Steam Deck and the Asus ROG and the Logitech G Cloud, all of these other handhelds that have started to creep out now, the IO Neo, things like that. Which is quite difficult to be able to try and compete with in terms of power and performance. Like you've got something like the Nintendo Switch versus the Steam Deck, and obviously the PlayStation Portable. Now, PlayStation Portal. If we're going to compare it to the PlayStation Portal, it's a streaming platform. Let's be honest, that's exactly what it's intended for. So in terms of the power that it has within the system, it heavily relies on obviously internet connections and stuff. It doesn't really have that much in there that will process the power of what is capable from games because it's being beamed into it. So we'll take that out of the equation. But things like your Steam Deck, your Asus ROG and things like that are just get systems that you can install games on and play, and you can compare that to Nintendo Switch. Obviously, you can download games and insert a cartridge and play them natively too. I feel like that's much closer to what the Nintendo Switch should be now in terms of a Nintendo Switch Pro. I don't believe that is what we're going to get, though. I don't believe that Nintendo has always been at the forefront of power and what their graphic fidelity can look like in video games. They've never been the bar, shall we say. They've never really set the bar. They've set the bar in terms of the games that come with the console. Your likes of Zeldas, your likes of Pokemon, your likes of Mario, Splatoon, any of the other first-party Nintendo Switch game, Nintendo game, shall we say, because it goes across many, many generations. But I don't believe that they've always set the bar performance-wise. They've always set it with their IPs, and that's where Nintendo thrive, because the games that you play on that system can't really be played anywhere else unless they are third-party. So I believe whatever console they come out with next may have better battery life. It may have a much better screen. It may have some graphic upgrade on there, but I still don't think it's going to compete with the likes of Steam Deck. I mean, Steam Deck will probably get an iteration within the next 2 years anyway. Compare that to what we got with the Steam Deck 18 months, 2 years ago. It's going to look infinitely different. So what the Nintendo Switch will have to do to try and play catch up with that, I don't think they'll ever end up reaching it, but I don't think they want to. I don't think their ambition is to create something that is the number one performance piece of hardware in your hand, because they just sit on the SKUs for too long. They're more interested in creating games that you guys want to be able to play. And I think they have well achieved that with this system. This is the Nintendo console that put them back on the map again after the Nintendo Wii U failed. So I believe that we are going to be getting another hybrid console. I feel like having the portability option as well as the home console option will definitely benefit them again. Whether or not they end up sitting on it for another 7 years with the new console that ends up coming out, I don't know. I don't know whether or not they're going to be getting a newer console a lot sooner, so maybe 3 or 4 years. Who knows what Nintendo have up their sleeves, but I do believe that what the Nintendo Switch, whatever iteration of the Switch comes next, I do believe that that is going to be a market leader, but for the reasons that probably aren't going to be shouted from the rooftop about. I reckon it's going to be 100% down to the games again. I do believe that they may have some graphic performance in there, better screen, better resolution, but in terms of what they're going to achieve with the chipset that's in there, I don't think it's going to be comparable to whatever else is on the market this year, which I will never beat them with that stick, because Nintendo do everything else so much better. Their marketing teams and the IPs that they end up bringing out. Xbox would kill to have a first party like Nintendo have, because that would make the Xbox compete in terms of products and sales with the PlayStation, which the last time that I saw, PlayStation was outselling Xbox's 3.5 to 1, which it puts them right in the market leader spectrum. I know that isn't the news that most people want to be able to hear. If you have been living under a rock, this has been the case for well over 8 or 9 years now. But this is just the world that we're living in. PlayStation and their first parties are absolutely killing it compared to what Xbox are putting out. And I do have an Xbox. I have an Xbox, and I've been playing that all Christmas because my PlayStation 5 controller is dead. A new one is meant to be arriving today at some point. So hopefully I'll be able to play my PlayStation 5 for the first time in about a month. My controller died. I've got it on the floor here. I'm inundated with Xbox 360 controllers. But my right trigger on the PlayStation is floppy. It doesn't work. So when I was playing Fortnite, my character was just firing constantly. Like I couldn't stop it. So it's bugged. I might be able to take it apart and then, I don't know, attach something again. It may have just slipped out or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's a knackered R2. So my character just keeps on firing. Or if I was playing a football game, my play would just be sprinting. But yeah, I've been playing on my Xbox this entire Christmas period or the holidays period. Starfield, I can't get off it. I genuinely can't get off Starfield. That's all I'm thinking about. I just want to play Starfield constantly. It's such a good game. When they say Skyrim in space, it's not quite there. But it's so much enjoyable. Things have a habit of going floppy as it gets older. My titties? Why are you coming at me like that? Leave them alone. I'm trying my best, right? Leave my titties out of this. Fatman Dave says, those are strange odds, but people will bet on anything these days. Replying to Spiffy's time eating areas like lunch, dinner, and tea. Have you done the Terramorph missions yet? I've done one of them. Was it called Grunt Work? It's the one, and it pissed me off actually because I completed it, but then there is one part where it bugs out where you have to wait for the systems to come back, which you actually don't because you've already completed that part. You just need to take the vial back to. It's not on Neon. I can't remember where it is, but you need to take it back to wherever your home base is. I can't remember. Atlasis? I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, I've done that one. I've done that first part of it. But I actually was just doing main storyline missions for a while. But then I saw all my MISC missions starting to build up, my faction missions and all the other stuff. So I started to peel away a little bit now. I started to explore a couple of the other planets just to tick off other things. The UC mission, that's it. That's it. That's what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm just kind of hitting all of the notes. I'm trying to spread myself across everything rather than just doing main storyline. I'm trying to see what is going on. The final mission. Oh my god, I can't wait. Like honestly, I'm so in with Starfield. It's I spoke to 12 about it. I've spoken to Graham about it. I'm trying to convince Graham to play anything other than PUBG. I know that's been something that we've been trying for the last 5 years to do. And he did break away from that to play some Hogwarts Legacy, if we remember, and some Last of Us that he streamed on this channel. But I'm desperately trying to get him to have a go at it because Skyrim for him isn't his bag. Like, he might enjoy the world and things like that, but in terms of the combat and the way that it looks and stuff, I don't think it's his bag. I know it's not his bag. He's already told me that. But this absolutely is. So I'm trying to get him to just jump on it. Just jump on it. Maybe for a month, just have a go at it, because I'm fairly certain he will fall in love with it as well. But that would be my contribution to this. Play Starfield. Forget about the Nintendo news that I just talked about. Play Starfield. In actual Microsoft news, we have actually got some Xbox news on here. It might not be something that you're too familiar with. The Xbox Series S toaster is finally here. Written by Andy Robinson again over on VGC. He goes on to say, nearly a year after the alleged images first appeared, the official licensed Xbox Series S toaster has been confirmed. As spotted by retailer sleuth Wario64, the Xbox Series S 2-slice toaster is now available to purchase in the US via Walmart with a retail price of $40. Achievement unlocked, the optimal carb experience, reads the device. Manufactured descriptions, this appliance will take your kitchen countertop to the next level. The shade selector dial lets you toast your bread, English muffins, frozen waffles and bagels exactly how you like them every time. Anywhere from lightly toasted to dark. burnt in some instances. The Series S toaster features a bagel function, digital countdown timer, 6 shade settings, and perhaps most compelling for fans, it imprints the Xbox Fear logo on your bread whilst it's heating it. The Xbox Series S toaster is allegedly part of a new wave of licensed Xbox gear, including Xbox ramen bowls, RGB mousepads, storage boxes, pen holders, and more. The Xbox Series S toaster will follow up 2021's Xbox Series X fridge, which is still available at retails for around £70. Created in partnership with Uconic, the Xbox mini fridge holds up to 12 cans of drink. It also includes a USB port for charging devices and comes with DC power adapter so that it can function on the go. The Xbox Series consoles was priced to reach blah, 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 blah. If you want to be able to pick up a new Xbox console, now is the time to do it because they are at their lowest ever price. That's all you need to know. Let's take a swig of my brew. Tito, that is outrageous. Where's my face? There he is. The red ring of bread. He states, I mean, £40 for this isn't the most expensive thing, let's be honest. Like, this is a cool little novelty thing. I mean, people will absolutely be using this every single day. And if I had one, chances are it would probably end up on my desktop as well. But, I mean, I really wanted the fridge. I just didn't want to shell 70 quid out for it. Because I do think that's quite cool and it would be quite nice here. However, I would have to remove my foot card. 67 pace is an absolute travesty. It should be at least 68. But yeah, the fridges are cool. I like where they're going with this because the console sales are on the decline and they're obviously trying to make them as cheap as possible. I actually thought they was making them as cheap as possible because they was going to be making a new iteration of the consoles, like a new SKU. So they would still have the Xbox Series S, but it'll be a Pro. We just use the term Pro for everything now, for a 0.5 upgrade. But yeah, like an Xbox Series X Pro. I thought that's why they was trying to get them out of the door so that they could bring out the Pro versions. But the fact that they're going into actual other merchandise to try and prop up the console sales is quite... I don't want to say it's genius, but it's definitely something that should work for them. Especially if it's priced like this, because I think £40 for that, for an Xbox licensed working, functioning toaster I think that's fair. I genuinely think that's fair because normal toasters are like £30 if you're looking for a 4-slicer. That's the only downfall here. We need a 4-slicer. It would obviously be a hell of a lot bigger, but having a 2-slice toaster nowadays, unless you live on your own, that's the only way it's acceptable. Like if you have no spouse, you have no children or anything like that, the 2-slicer, perfect. But if you've got a family, the 4-slicer is the only way to go. If you've got 6, even better. But having to wait 2 slice on 3, not for me. The Series X pizza oven, I'll be well in for that. I wrote that when I posted it, says Dave. The next is the Series X fridge. Oh, that next to the Series X fridge. Sorry, I thought it was but yeah, I think this is a decent idea, and it's nice to see that they're diversifying where their funds are going to come from, because obviously the gaming side of it isn't the best at this moment in time. I'm rooting for Xbox. It only benefits gamers when we have a full ecosystem worth of games that are worth buying. If you've got things like Starfield, but then it's available to be able to buy on Steam at the same time, then great, it's available day one on Xbox, which is obviously what I'm doing. I'm not bought it on Steam, but having first-party games that are available is fantastic. The games just need to be good enough to be able to keep people coming back. People who've played Starfield aren't doing New Game Plus yet. They aren't doing it. They're waiting for new content to drop or major bug fixes. So that kind of reels it out after you've played 40 hours of it. Forza is a fantastic game. Fantastic series. I haven't actually played the latest version of the game. Halo had so much shit going wrong with it, but is now worth playing, in my opinion. So they have got games there, but they're just not as strong as the other consoles, first-party games, which is no shame in that, because the first-party games that are being pumped out by other brands, shall we say, are absolutely fire. So they've got a lot of work to do there, but this is a great start, in my opinion. It's definitely a product worth buying because it looks cool as fuck. I put 2 pieces in each side. That way, only one side of the bread is toasted. It's lovely. I put 2 pieces in each side. You put 2 pieces of bread in one grid. I've heard some shit in my time, Jay, but that might be up there. That might be up there as one of the worst things that I have ever heard. Honestly, I'm still trying to work it out if that's what you meant. But that might be up there as one of the worst things. That is that's an international... 2 pieces in one grid. That is an international war crime right there. I've never heard so much shit in all my time. Oh my God. Next you were telling me that you do cheese on toast and turn the toaster on its side. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, cheese on toast in the toaster and you just turn the toaster on its side. I butter one side and it's all... Oh God. We need to move on. We need to move on. This episode needs to end now. That is an international war crime. I butter one side and it's also nice. Oh God. I can't be doing with that. Jay, you've ruined this episode. I hope you're happy. The first stream of the year couldn't have gone any worse, could it? How do you feel about ham and strawberry jam sandwiches? Right, we need to time him out. I'm not sure about that. I am not sure about... I will say, right, don't clip this. This is just between us. My son had a pizza. Only out like, within Goodfellas ones, cut it in half. He's good to go. He's scrambling that all day. And he left a little bit of it, and it was pineapple and ham, right? For 600 seconds. That's a bit extreme. 600 seconds. There we go. Well done, Tino. You can see where I'm going with this. So we had a little bit of the old ham and pineapple on the side, and I don't like pineapple at all. But I thought, do you know what? I'll have a go. I'll have a go on it. And I didn't hate it, I don't know if it's because I've never liked pineapple, and I don't think I still do. I don't think pineapple is on the table for discussion, but it was quite nice. It was palatable. It's not something that I'm going to be ordering anytime soon. I ain't going to the Asda make your own pizza counter and saying, load me up with pineapple. That is never going to happen. It was palatable, though. I will leave you with that. Just before we jump into the next article, that is. The only thing that's extreme is JMK's eating habits fair. Pineapple pizzas for crazy people that want to suffer. I'm still in full agreement with that because of all the different flavours that are out there, people still choose to put pineapple on it, but here we go. More Xbox news. You can't say that we are biased over on this podcast when it comes to the green side of the console wars. But anyway, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is definitely a game worth playing, headlines the first wave of Xbox Game Pass titles for 2024, which Resident Evil 2 should be the headline. Forget about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, fantastic game, but Resident Evil 2 is my favourite game of all time. We'll get into that. Microsoft has revealed its first batch of Xbox Game Pass titles for January. Headlining this collection is Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is available on Cloud Console and PC. I'm not going to tell you whether they're available. Just go and find out yourself. I'm fairly certain there's going to be. In fact, I think there is. Yeah, there we go. We'll go through that in a second. But yes, which will be available from the 9th of January, which is in 4 days' time. When is the 9th? Is that a Tuesday? It is a Tuesday, yeah. It will be available on Tuesday. Another highlight from this is the wave of Capcom's remake of Resident Evil 2, the greatest game of all time, which arrives on the 16th of January. Nothing to say that the New Year's cheer like fighting off waves of flesh-eating zombies. Confirmed. Oh my God, Manny's coming with the raid. Thank you very much, Manny. Absolute legend. Thank you so much, pal. 235 of you. If you are new around here, I'll tell you what, I'll bring these cheeky chops on so you can have a look at this fantastic football shirt that I'm representing here. So, Manchester City fan, born and bred in Manchester. Absolute classic of a football shirt here. Thank you very much, Manny, for raiding us. Very much appreciate that, mate. If you are new around here, do feel free to obviously follow this channel. We are a video games podcast channel as well. As video gamers ourselves, we do stream in the evenings, mostly PUBG or Fortnite, and everything else that's in between, like eFootball. So again, thank you very much, Manny. Absolute legend. Let's get back into the news. Bring back eFootball. It'll be back soon. But yes, so coming your way over on Xbox Game Pass this month, you obviously have got Assassin's Creed and also Resident Evil 2, which I absolutely implore you to go over and play. It is the best game of all time. Definitely no bias on that whatsoever. But closing out the game as well is Close to the Sun, Hell Let Loose, Figment, Super Mega Baseball 4, never played that, and We Happy Few, and also Those Who Remain. And here's the full lineup as well as the dates that they are available. If you do have Xbox Game Pass, I swear to God, on the 16th of January, get Resident Evil 2 downloaded to your console and just play it. It's not the longest game in the world. There is obviously the Claire and Leon stories. You can probably get each one done. Maybe if it's the first time you've played the game before, in about 6 to 8 hours each. And then obviously once you start to unlock all of the stuff like rocket launchers and blah, 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 you can probably get through in about 2 or 3 hours at each of the campaigns. But I absolutely implore you to go over and play Resident Evil 2. It's a game that I actually lent to Graham and he finished and enjoyed as far as I'm aware. And that is saying something. When you can get Graham off playing PUBG, that is a testament to how good that game is. Lake says Championship Manager 0102 is the best game of all time. I mean, it's definitely the game that still lives rent-free in my head. And it's a game that's still instantly customizable with all the mods and stuff that you can go over to. Is it Save Champman 0102 or something like that? And people are still putting the newer databases in there for more modern seasons. But yeah, I remember playing that game actually. The first time that I played that game, it was, and I don't know if this was over in Finland as well, Lake, but in our cereal, we used to get toys or used to get like demo discs and stuff. And I remember Kellogg's did something with the IDOS team. And you got the first 2 seasons, I think it was, on a disc. It was the 0102 disc. And you could probably buy them off eBay now, but it was the first 2 seasons on a disc. And that was my... I'm not going to say entry into Championship Manager because I had played it before, but not to the extent where I had a copy myself and I wasn't at a friend's house and I could spend all the time that I wanted on playing Championship Manager. But there was no such thing there. But yeah, that was my first official foray into playing Championship Manager, and I would have been 10 at the time. So that one lives rent-free in my head. But yeah, Resident Evil 2 and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, everything else that's on there, don't worry about. Just play those 2 games because they are absolute bangers. Speaking of absolute bangers, moving on to our next article over at Eurogamer. Written by Victoria Kennedy, she goes on to say, Marvel's Midnight Suns 2 Point Campus headline the first Humble Bundle of the year. Now, I have been Humble Bundle subscriber in the past. I got rid of it maybe 3 or 4 months ago. This might end up enticing me to come back again. Graham's here. I mention his name and he arrives. But it's a new year and there's new Humble Bundle choice to ring in 2024. Every month, the team at Humble Bundle selects a collection of PC games for its members to keep forever. In addition, members get 20% off the vast collection of games in the Humble Bundle store. There's also a charity donation too. It's a nice little deal all around, really. This month, the bundling team have grouped together 8 games for its subscribers to enjoy, and these are Marvel Midnight Suns, banger of a game, streamed on this channel. 2 Point Campus, another game that I've streamed on this channel. Origami 2, Oxtoe, The Red Lantern, Roguebook, Hell Pie, and Twin Mirror. The other 6, never heard of before. But as with previous months, 5% of the choice members will go towards a charitable cause. This month, Humble Bundle is supporting Hello World, an organisation that helps bridge the digital divide by providing connectivity, education, and power to hard-to-reach communities. You can read more about what they do here. I'll leave the link in the chat for you guys as well. Another highlight is 2 Point Campus. Oh, sorry, I'll skip back. I've moved forward on one of the paragraphs there. As for the games themselves, I enjoyed Marvel Midnight Suns when I played it last year, so would recommend giving it a bash if you haven't already. In Eurogame's own Marvel Midnight Suns review, our Dolnan called it a great tactical fun nestled in sweet-natured superhero dollhouse. Not words that I would have used to describe this game, but each their own. I would say that it is a tactical RPG / card collecting game with some of the world's greatest ever superheroes, household names. So I implore you to play that game. Again, I'm telling you a lot. If you've not got your notepad out, I'll go over them again. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Resident Evil 2, definitely at the top of the list, Marvel Midnight Suns, and also 2 Point Campus. Now, obviously, the Humble Bundle is a bought subscription. I'm fairly certain it's around about £9 that you can buy the bundle for each month. You can obviously stay subscribed and you just get them delivered to you each month. Or you can pick and choose. You can subscribe for 1 month and then cancel it straight after, and you'll still get the 30 days of activity with that. It doesn't mean to say that you can do it on the day and then the following month you'll get 1 day's worth of subscription to go back and do it. I think they stagger it, so it might be 30 days worth of a subscription, and then they'll bring it out 5 days after that one's ended, so that you do have to subscribe every single month, which is absolutely fair because a lot of this ends up going to charity as well. And these are games that obviously they would have to pay to then put into a bundle to then be able to sell to you guys as well. So it's definitely worth it all around, and they always end up having a top tier game in there. Like obviously the reason I subscribed originally was because it had Temtem in it, and it was the cheapest way of being able to play Temtem. I think Temtem's still £40 to buy, and it was available in this bundle for £8. So that's the reason why I end up getting this Humble Bundle in the first place. But yeah, it's definitely worth subscribing this month just for two of those 8 games. Anyway, Graham, I did obviously see into the chat. It said just being out for brunch of Brinner. My flat is cold as you know what it's freezing here at the moment. Like I went to training last night and it was 3 degrees. I think it was. It was one of those you end up running around so much that you get warm, but it's still cold outside. So you have that sweaty condensation feeling in your clothes. Which you just get absolutely drenched. But yeah, it's absolutely freezing in Manchester. It says that it's 5 degrees now, so minus 28 outside, so clearly not as cold as it is over in Finland. Iron Drew says, I see that shirt, I see Stuart Pearce, hurts a little. Do you know what? Some of the players that City have had over the years, obviously before we had the money, like getting George Weah, where did that come from? How did we end up getting George Weah and Paulo One-Shop as well? Like, these were household names. Like, one of them was a Ballon d'Or winner, and he ended up playing for City when we was proper shit. So, I don't know. Ended up at like Nicholas Anelka, Robbie Fowler, David James. Like, these are all international superstars back in the time. Steve McManaman, he was fucking awful, but we ended up getting him. Mental to me, but here we are. Jay says 7 degrees here, Lake. I feel your pain. It's cold. Not in this house. I did actually turn my radiator off before because I turned it on this morning because it was so cold. It was the first time that I booted my PC up since the 19th of December. No, I played Fortnite with Graham on the 21st or 22nd. That was the last time that I turned it on. But yeah, I tidied my office up. You guys won't feel like it's changed much because it hasn't. I've just put my Alexa in behind there. I've changed the name of it to something else so it doesn't wake up when I mention it. But I've dusted everything. So going back into the office today for the first time, or back into my office for the first time this year, was quite nice because everything is nice and clean. It's all dusted. We're all ready to go until it gets, I don't know, dusty tomorrow or some shit. But we do have one news story, and it's one that you guys have come to expect on a Friday. It is Friday, right? Just making sure. Yes, it absolutely is Friday. And I actually redeemed this game this morning, and it's definitely worth you getting the Epic Games Store for if you don't already. Oh, I almost forgot. My newly tuned guitar. She's ready for you. Are you ready? Live performance. Free game. Friday. That's your 2024 edition. Nice and live. But yes, it's definitely one worth getting. Here it is. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So yeah, if you're not already on the Epic Games Store, get it downloaded now and you'll get Guardians of the Galaxy for free. But make sure that you use promo code ICU in the coupon section. Even though it's free, it still shows that we're getting, like, might not get any monetary value for it, but it shows that our coupon's being used. That goes for all Epic games as well. I'll come back onto that in a second. I'll just read you the blurb. So, emerging from the onslaught of daily, holiday, Epic Store freebies, we're returning to the regularly scheduled weekly freebies with Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. Overcoming our collective Marvel fatigue, the Eidos Montreal Guardians of the Galaxy game is surprisingly refreshing action, taking on some of the cosmic comic team with the earnest attention to character. Now, it may not look like the film counterparts, but this is an absolute banger of a game. I think it's one that's obviously been on PlayStation Plus recently too, so you may have already ended up playing it, but look at the games that get given away over Christmas. Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition, unbelievable game. Outer Worlds, not finished it, but enjoyed what I played of it. Ghostwire Tokyo, Cursed to Golf, Cat Quest, Saints Row 2022. I really enjoyed that game. I know a lot of people hated it. It does steer away from the usual Saints Row formula, but it's still definitely worth picking up, and obviously Ghost Runner as well. Games that you can no longer pick up, But Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is available for you in the Epic Games Store. But again, if you are picking up anything from the Epic Games Store, use promo code ICU or the creator code. It won't cost you anything. It won't necessarily always give us something, but it gets you into a rhythm then, doesn't it? But that also goes to use if you are obviously on the Epic Game account, whether or not you're playing Fortnite or Rocket League or something, that will still also be there. I'm going to make a little short video actually on how to access the store and put your ICU creator code in there, because some people don't know how to use it when you're in Fortnite. On PlayStation it's triangle, on Xbox I think it's X. Confusing, I know. But yeah, I think that's how you end up doing it anyway, off the top of my head. But yeah, promo code ICU in any of the creator code instances where it's available. We very much appreciate that if you guys can do that. Tito says it's also on Game Pass. Fantastic. Dunham got the Guardians of the Galaxy with ICU. Amazing. Thank you very much, Nietzsche. Again, thank you so much. Dan thought there might have been some Tone Deaf Friday command. I told you, I am learning how to play the guitar. So the lesson so far has taught me how to use open chords and then how to use frets, which I've never really been interested in using. So that's my first foray into learning how to play guitar. I don't know whether or not that came through correctly, but that was me absolutely shredding to Freebird on my guitar there on Expert. Shorts and t-shirt weather that, says Nietzsche, with the minus 44 up north. Confirmed. However, I don't know if it's an age thing. I know this has nothing to do with video games, but I'm fairly certain you guys are of very similar age to me in this chat. The only part of me that gets cold anymore is my fingers and my toes. The rest of me, great. I don't know if it's a blood circulation thing, and probably something I should go to the doctor about, but everything else gets warm, barring my feet and my hands. That never used to be the case. I was a guy that always had to sleep with the window open because I always ran hot. But nowadays, feet and hands, always cold. Just can't get them warm. And that's happened maybe for like 7 or 8 months. I don't know if it's I'm about to die or stroke out or something. I don't know. But I think I'm definitely on the way to being put on the scrap heap. Speaking of scrap heaps, this episode of The Scoop is now coming to an end. Thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for today's episode. Thank you very much for Manny for raiding us. Thank you very much to you guys that obviously followed off of the back of that joined in the conversation, that helped shape our first show back. We very much appreciate it. But if you have missed it and you are only just joining us now, you can find this on our on-demand service later on, as well as all of our podcast services. We will back later on tonight around about 7:30, 8 o'clock with some Fortnite action. May have some special guests, may have some friends joining in as well. Who knows? But yes, I do hope that you have a fantastic weekend. I haven't actually spoken to Graham about his weekend. Obviously, it was his wife's birthday this week, so I don't know whether or not they've got things planned. But I won't be streaming this weekend. Obviously, that's why I'll be doing it tonight, because it's Samantha's birthday on Sunday, and we do have some things planned. So, yeah, the best way to find out, obviously, is when we go live, is to obviously join our Discord, as well as follow all of our social media platforms, which I can get onto now, if you want to help shape next week's show. And we should be back up to about 3 scoops next week. This week has been a little bit carnage, obviously, because of the Christmas period. There's 1,000,001 reports on all of our clients. Obviously want to go through plans for the remainder of the year, so it has been a little bit chaotic. But next week, I'm starting to see a few gaps being plugged here and there. So yeah, you might end up getting 3 scoops next week. Keep an eye on that. As well as there was something else that oh yes, WrestleFest takes place tomorrow over on Pirate Lou's Twitch channel. Obviously twitch.tv/Pirate Lou. Myself and Graham will be in action against Chase Owens and Ligiano, I think it's pronounced. I was calling him Giano, but I don't think that's right. So Ligiano and Chase Owens will be coming up against the reigning champions, myself and Graham. There is also a nice little video package that we've put together for that may only be being debuted during the broadcast. So if you are going to be around for that, again, twitch.tv/Pirate Lou, tomorrow evening around about 8 p.m, I believe is when the broadcast goes live. I don't know when our ring walk will be or what time that will be, but it's going to be a hell of a show regardless. So yeah, Team EU going up against Team NA, the punks of Team NA. We're looking to take them out again. we're looking to take them out again. We'll go for the back-to-back-to-back victories and keep, I'm fairly certain we're tag team champions, but we'll keep it going anyway. Momentum is always on our side. But yes, again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that joined us for today's episode. Do stick around. We'll send you over to one of our friends who is currently streaming. Who that is, I haven't even checked yet. But until next time, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure to be able to bring you this podcast today. Again, we'll be back later on, as well as hopefully with some podcasts next week around about 3. I'm hoping. But yes, as always, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. And as always, there's one thing that we want you to do, and that, my friends, is to stay frosty.